Yeah. Boss lady. See me.
Hi guys, I'm Ntha here. Welcome back to the channel, I guess. I know it's been a while, so I'm getting ready for my first talk of the year. So I was invited to be one of the guest speakers at the She Talks Feminism that's been organized by Egisa, and it's going to be happening at Warm Heart Cafe. So I think it's an event that we get to chat about feminism. It's I think something that's deeply misunderstood, and I think people deliberately choose to misunderstand it. So we're just trying to have a conversation and talk about feminism, how we see it and how we understand it. So when I was invited to this, I haven't done a talk on feminism, I think in years, on actual feminism. I think that was my first talk actually ever with the Peace Corps event. And now I feel like I'm going back to my roots and doing it again, so I'm super excited. And I recently rejoined Twitter. That's been going fun. Having a lot of conversations, sharing a lot of opinions, hearing other people's opinions. It's been a fun ride. So I've seen that a lot of people, and I think considering that I left Twitter 4 years ago, and to come back now and see people having the same views as to how they did then, it's unfortunate and it's sad, and I think people are deliberately choosing to not understand. So I realized that our generation doesn't like to read. So I was hoping that I'd do some research and share some things about, and I think I got a question recently to say, why does Malawi need feminism? Because people keep saying feminism is a white concept and you just jump on a white people concept and trying to bring it to Africa. So I'm gonna try to explain. Let me just log into my computer. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to discuss why we need feminism. So I'm working on my speech right now, which I happen to be much of a procrastinator, so I already have the speech in my head. I wrote some notes down, but I just want to put it up so I get one-on-one with my thoughts, which I think is essential and necessary. So yeah, I'm gonna put it up on the blog and try to see how we go from there. But I'm just trying to, my topic is why we need feminism, in quotes, Africa/Malawi. It's not just a white people concept, it's relevant to us and we need it. So I'm trying to discuss why we need it, and I want to use the data that I found, but also my own personal experience growing up. So yeah.
Yeah. Boss lady.
See me in the club, yeah, the bills on me. 50K for the heels on me. Me and my girls and we rolling them. If you know, say we hard from long time. Bad yeah, she's on me. When me
The Ntha Media, the social enterprise that works hand in hand with her non-profit, Nyenye Zizaku Mawa Foundation. The two organizations believe in building up other young women, other young creatives to also establish their brands by giving them mentorship, internship, and employment. Ntha is a graduate from the University of Malawi. She holds a degree in economics and demography. She works as a revenue officer for the Malawi Revenue Authority, but follows her passion of storytelling through writing, speaking, and media production. So this afternoon, Ntha will be speaking to us about feminine silence. Again, it's very interactive. After you're done with your talk, there'll be several questions, several critiques. No offense, no personal, just take it as it is, because here we want to strike that conversation around feminism and what do we say about feminism and where we stand as a country. So please give a round of applause for Ntha to make
Think turn up when the boss said you walk by. Me not see no butter when me can buy.
Good afternoon.
Spend money like Didi's my Allah.
Okay, I'm happy to be here. So as she introduced me, my name is Ntha Lizzie Mandui. I'm a writer, as she said. I do a lot more things beyond writing, but I think above all else that I do, I identify as a writer. So I tell stories from mostly personal experience. I like to live large, I like to live on the edge, and I hope to write about it someday. So my first big public talk was about feminism actually. That was in 2015 at Chancellor College with the Peace Corps organization. And we had a talk, I think, in the Great Hall. So I haven't done a talk on feminism since then, so I'm quite excited to be talking on that topic again. So to start this talk, I recently rejoined Twitter. That's about a month ago. I took a 4-year sabbatical because I was addicted. to mostly Twitter. Social media for me, I mean, I'm a social media personality if you know me. But Twitter was very addictive for me, so I left it for about 4 years to do some things. So I recently came back, and as of today, I got 1,000 followers, so they told me to celebrate, so I'm celebrating today. Yeah, so it's been fun so far, having some healthy debates, talking to people. And coming back, I'm realizing that it's been 4 years, but you talk to some people and you see that nothing has changed. Their views are still the same as they were 4 years ago. And there's still some people asking the very basic question, what is feminism? And they still choose to be misinformed about the topic, even though I feel like 4 years is a very long time, and I feel like somebody should have grabbed a book and read something, but people still choose not to do that. So a friend of mine yesterday tweeted at me and asked me if one can be a homosexual and a feminist and still be a Christian. So my response is very simple. To me, being a Christian has a definition, and to me, being a feminist has a definition. A Christian is, have you received and accepted the Lord as your Savior? And a feminist means, do you believe that men and women should have equal opportunities to social, economical, and political rights? It's as basic as that. It affects nothing else. Because then there are so many people who come and want to say, I can't be a feminist because feminists are bitter. I can't be a feminist because feminists are ugly. There's so many things that I say, it's sexless, you name it, you know it. So for me, I'm like, yes, I understand that feminists can be labeled as bitter. And I don't believe in, personally, I don't believe in forcing beliefs or ideologies on people. I believe you should choose what you believe in. And if you choose to say, I don't believe in this, that's completely alright in my book. But what I have a problem with is people trying to justify what they're not. I can choose any day to say I'm no longer Christian and go my way. That's okay, because I've analyzed it and understood it. But if I'm going to go in everybody's face every day and try to say, I'm not a Christian because, why are you a Christian? Then it starts to show some insecurity on my part. To say, why do I feel the need to constantly attack Christians when I've chosen to no longer be Christian? So that's something that I have against anti-feminists. To say, if you're not a feminist, that's okay. But don't spend your life attacking feminists when you don't even understand the ideology. So I'm writing my second book, and I think that's my topic for the day. My second book is, okay, let's just start to my first book. I just published my first book last year. I launched it on the 14th of September at the German ambassador's residence. The title is By the End of Your Teens. It's a book about everything I wish I knew when I was a teenager. And that it has my personal life experience, and it's laced with plenty psychology theories. It has 70,000 words, 300 pages, 20 chapters, and has gotten great reviews, and we've sold about 300 copies locally and internationally. So my second book now is titled Feminine Silence, and that's the topic for today. It's the name of my first blog, the first blog that I ever had. Now my blog is called Ntha, then it was called Feminine Silence. And it was around 2015 when I was trying to regain my voice. So back then I was on Twitter, I remember. And there was this talk about being wife material, and I was really obsessed with that idea. I actually thought I identified as wife material, you know. I could cook, could clean, take care of the house. I thought I was it, you know. There was a man that was gonna love me, take me and say, you're it for me. So, you know, when my first relationship didn't work out, I wasn't happy, I wasn't amused, you know. I was like, okay, I've done everything right. I cook for you, I clean after, and I was just in college, by the way. I cook for you, I clean for you, I do everything, so why am I still not good enough? So in that moment, I started reading more, and I started researching more, trying to find out more things. And that's when I stumbled upon feminism. In that very moment, I was bitter. So that's when people say that, you know, feminists are bitter because you're just heartbroken. And for me, I stumbled upon feminism in my heartbreaks that I can never take that away. But that was just a beginning. So like I said, there are many descriptions of feminists online: bitter, sexless, heartbroken. And it's very unfortunate, I find, that girls have to stumble upon feminism in the moment of heartbreak, because then it makes the whole movement look bad. But I don't look at it as a bad thing. It's a start. It's where someone starts. So whether feminists are labeled as bitter, anything else, it doesn't change the fact, like I said, it's about the definition. So it doesn't change the fact that I'm a feminist because somebody thinks other women are bitter. Yes, they are bitter feminists. They are happy feminists. They are loud feminists. They are quiet feminists. All types of feminists. Therefore, you cannot say, I can't be a feminist because feminists are bitter, because that's just a type of feminists that are out there. And maybe they are allowed to be bitter because of their personal experience. So it is in heartbreak that girls realize that marriage is not the goal in life. That they're not living to be a mother. And then they start learning. And like I said, it's a beginning. So you start learning there. You see that, okay, so I'm not going to be just a wife, because it's not about not being a wife, but I'm not going to be just a wife. There is more that I can be. And you start discovering, and you start reading, and you start going deeper and deeper and deeper. So the tagline for my second book, Feminine Silence, is, you do not have to like me. I simply have to get the job done. And that is something that I've struggled with all my life, being liked. If you know me personally, you know I have a lot of haters. I'm fine with that. I struggled with that for a good part of my life, because they're like, okay, people don't like you. And I was like, okay, why don't they like me? Maybe I have to change myself. But then you get to a point, you're like, okay, so what if you like me? I can still do the job if you don't like me. I can still deliver if you don't like me. And that's what I'm going with. Feminine leadership. For a long time, people will say, women leaders, they're so bossy, they're so this. But if a man is bossy, he's just a boss. If a woman is bossy, she's arrogant, she's this and she's that. We don't like her. Who does she think she is? Bitch. Nobody says that. Yes, like you said, bitch. But nobody says that about a man. He's just a boss. So my book is saying you can be a boss. And people don't have to like you. Forget about likability and just be there and deliver. So now one of the major questions I get asked is, and I got asked this I think 2 days ago, why do we need feminism in Africa, in Malawi? Somebody said it's a white people thing. You guys are taking this on and you're destroying families, you're destroying our society. There's a lot of talk on that. So I'm going to give you my experience, I guess. I grew up in Mangochi district, because I'm not from Mangochi, but my parents are Marines. My mother was the first Marine captain of Malawi, and my father is a Marine engineer. I've experienced what it means to be a Mangochi girl firsthand. There's a lot of my friends that I've seen growing up. So I'm going to give you a brief outline of what the life of a Mangochi girl looks like. Most parents, especially about 10 years ago, never saw the need for a girl child in Malawi to go to school. You're a Mangochi girl, you're going to be a wife. So little girls are prepped for being mothers and marriage from a young age, something as young as 7 or 8. So they go through the Chinamwali. I believe you all know about the Chinamwali. From the moment you go through the Chinamwali, you're being trained to become a woman. Most of them have sex while at the Chinamwali. So from ages 8, 9, you're already having sex. And from my experience with my friends, by the time these guys are 12, 13, they're pregnant. And as soon as you get pregnant, it's a Yao culture to say the guy has to marry you. So the guy does marry you. You're 13. He marries you, but he's also young. So you're both struggling, and he has to find a way to make ends meet. So he leaves, and he goes to Kujoni. I don't know if you've heard of this. But they go to South Africa to find a job, to find a way to make ends meet. So he's there, and he gets the job. But because he's there, and you're not there, he's being exposed to things. He gets married to somebody else. You don't know that. So you're back home. You're 15. He comes home. He sends you petty cash. He shows up here and there. He gets you pregnant again. He goes back. He still has a wife. He still has kids that side. And you spend your life like that. And by years are going by. By, your daughter is also 13. And don't forget that your age now, you're 26. So you're 26, your daughter is 13, and she's pregnant too. By the time you're 39, you're a grandmother. By the time you're about 42 or so, you're a great-grandmother. By the time you turn 60, you've seen about 4 or 5 generations. And that is the life of a Mangochi woman. So I can say, if you look at me now, my daughter should have been about 10. I should have had a 10-year-old daughter by me. I don't. Lucky. And I count myself lucky. But I know so many girls that can't count themselves lucky because they weren't exposed to something like that. So she introduced me. I studied economics and demography, and I did 2 dissertations. So both of my dissertation studies were on the socio-economic impacts of women's empowerment. And more details will be shared in the book. I hope you buy. But today I just want to conclude this talk with my findings from my dissertations. And this is in line with why we need feminism. So the first reason was just what I narrated on the life of a Mangochi chick. I think they need us. They need feminism. So the second is now my findings. So I'll start with my demography dissertation, where I analyzed the impact of women's empowerment on the unmet need for family planning. So unmet need for family planning defined is basically the gap for the demand for contraceptives and the actual contraceptives that are being used. So in Malawi, as of 2010, 78% of women said they wanted to use contraceptives. And the provision was there, but you find that 52%, only 52% of those women were using contraceptives. So then you start to question, why is that so? 78% of women say they want to have less children, but then, because we're trying to control population as it goes, but then why is it that then some women are still not using? So we had about an unmet need for 26%, And in my head, because I just stumbled upon feminism, then I was like, maybe empowering women might have an impact here. So I started analyzing that. So we define women's empowerment as the number of decisions married women take part in their homes. So these decisions were 0 to 5, and there were decisions on like groceries you buy, how many children you have, and all that. So the most empowered woman took part in all 5 decisions, and the one who took part in no decision was the one that was defined as not empowered. So according to findings, first was that men naturally have, for different reasons of course, have higher fertility preferences than women, meaning that men want to have more children than women. And then following that was that the women that were more empowered had higher contraceptive use, while those that were not empowered had lower contraceptive use. This is meaning that the men are the ones making the fertility decisions in the home. Therefore, even if the woman wants to use contraceptives in the home, if she's not making that decision, then it's not up to her. And now my economics dissertation was, I think there was a question of a comment maybe about gender wage gaps. And I assessed that the impact of women's empowerment on the occupational gender wage gaps in Malawi, trying to explain the unexplained wage gap in Malawi. So the data separated the field or occupations into 8, ranging from managerial jobs to farming and secretarial jobs. Now the findings showed something interesting for me. So when you look at Malawi, she said something about that a gender wage gap is basically saying that just because I'm a woman, I'll be paid less than a man. So like in the States, for every dollar that a man makes, a woman makes 0.79 cents. So I mean $0.79, which is 79 cents. So you realize that in the world, yes, overall they do have that, but that is not the case for Malawi. So when we still end up with a national wage gap, it now start asking to say, okay, because for $1 a man makes in Malawi, you find that actually a woman also makes $1 in whatever field, except for managerial jobs, which show that women are paid better than men in managerial jobs. So then why is it that when you look overall, there is still a gap in the gender wages? So my findings showed that women indeed are paid more than men in managerial jobs, and overall are paid equally as men. But then women are concentrated in very low paying jobs. So even though they're paid more in some jobs, they're concentrated in secretarial jobs or farming and stuff like that, and the men are the ones doing the managerial jobs, and then they're making more. When you look at the country as a nation, then women are making less than men. So that's where I came to say, yes, feminism might be maybe it started with white people, but we need it very differently for us as Africans. We need it very differently as Malawians. And I think it's unfortunate for people who say, I'm not going to be a feminist because feminist A is doing this wrong, or I don't like feminist B, I can't be on the same side with feminist B, therefore I'm an anti-feminist. It makes no sense. There are little girls around the world that need us. There are little girls that need us to fight for them. I can count myself as privileged. Say, I grew up in Mangochi, but I grew up in a very different setting where I was empowered and I was protected. But so many Mangochi girls, right now I know my friends who are mothers, I meet my friends' children and they're as tall as me, and I'm shocked. So I think we need to fight for those girls, and I think those girls, there's tons of girls in Mangochi that need us, tons of girls in Malawi that need us, billions of girls in Africa and the world at large that need us. So I hope we're aware of our privilege, and I hope we can help fight the fight. Thank you.
See the boss